Shit. Oh, look at Amazon took it outside that. What's up, everybody? YouTube. How's everyone doing this lovely whatever day I'm gonna drop this shit? It's your boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy Try with me.
What up?
And we're finally gonna do a video that Try likes and shit. um we're gonna do the top 20 hip hop albums from 1988. Now originally it was gonna be top 20 of 87, but I might downsize that to maybe a top seven or top five because
Right.
I didn't realize 87 was a good year, but I didn't realize they had some crap in 87.
Yeah.
And certain albums I thought was dropped in 87 actually came out in 88 because it was still recorded and stuff like that too. And it's
Right.
you can definitely tell the difference between the 87 sound and the 88 sound and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But back to 1988, in my opinion, the first great year when hip hop's creativity expanded in different directions and shit. I personally felt like 88 saw the expansion of a lot of styles, the cold chillin' Juice Crew style, gangster rap. Of course you got fucking the Miami bass shit happening with the Two Live Crew, of course, even though you love that group. You got solo female rappers and shit. You know, we got a lot of different shit. The beginning of like alternative rap in a way and stuff like that was brewing. Like 88 just had like a lot of interesting styles in hip hop that is still being duplicated today. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
this list was pretty hard to make. I mean, my number one was standard. I was thinking
Mm.
my number one is pretty good, but picking everything else was just it might be a little controversial. Some albums, but you know what? Fuck it. We're here for the controversy. I want all the smoke tonight. So my number 20 is from one of my favorite hip hop bands, and no, it's not The Roots. It's Philadelphia's own. That's a Sonic. Wait, hold on. They're from Philly, right? No, they're from New York. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. New York's own Sonic with their fucking In Full Gear album. Oh my fucking god! Why isn't this album not really talked about like that in hip hop? In my opinion,
I don't know.
mind you, this is a double album. They were experimenting with R&B, jazz, dance hall. Some of Prince Paul's best shit he's ever done, in my
Yeah.
opinion. That Battle of the Banks with Prince Paul is on in the works and shit. I don't give a fuck. Um, yeah, man, songs like Sally, music for the Stenfully Insane was dope. Of course, talking all that jazz, which they did that after the late great James Mtume was saying how he didn't like sampling and stuff like that. Which I didn't even know they were talking about Mtume until I saw
Me
Mtume's
neither.
song and shit like that too. I was just like, wow. So talking all that jazz was all about Mtume. Wow, okay.
Right.
But yeah, man, Daddy Yo, one of the most underrated East Coast figures in hip hop history. He's done a lot of shit. I know a lot of people know him because he produced for Junior Mafia, Conspiracy album and stuff like that. Cough Biggie group and shit. So yeah, man, y'all should look up who Daddy O is. One of the greatest. Rest in peace to Fuquan as well too. Definitely got to talk about this time. I need to get the first and the last album too.
I
This
don't
is
have
the
none
only,
of these stuff.
yeah, it goes for a stupid amount of money too.
Yeah. All right. Number 20, I got Dougie Fresh. You got Fresh Crew, World's Greatest Entertainer. Great album. Um, I don't know if this is his best. I like it. You know, you
Yeah,
got the joint Keep Rising to the Top and, you know, Greatest Entertainer, the title track, and Guess Who. You know, Everybody Loves a Star. I felt like it was a good album. You know, wait. What's his best album? You think this is his best album?
honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. That's actually my favorite album from
And your
him.
favorite one?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably. I would say that. You know, I haven't listened to all his albums though, so I think this one is his best album to me.
yeah. Keep rising to the top alone, man. I mean,
Yeah,
and even with that album too, one thing I loved about it, it was a party record, but he still can spit though. He
right,
still had R's and shit like that. 'Cause I
right,
feel like niggas don't give Dougie that much love unless if it's like talk with Slick Rick and shit or the beatboxing. But live performance, rapping. I feel like Dougie's just one of them illest cats and shit. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say much more on the album because that's actually not too far ahead. But I'm gonna take it to the West Coast with my man King T with Act a Fool as my number 19. King T, one of the best rappers to come from Compton and shit like that. This came out the same year as another rap album from Compton, which I'm not gonna say, but you guys should definitely know what it is. This one definitely had a very dope West Coast sound. You had early DJ Pooh up in this bitch, one of the most unique West Coast producers in my opinion. I love songs like Bass, the remix and shit like that. Act a Fool, Payback to Mother. I know a lot of fans say this is like his best album, but honestly, I'm more of a For Life dude from '95. I feel like that's his best and his most consistent album to date. So yeah, but this one is actually unfortunately the only album I have in his collection and shit. But I got it for dumb cheap, so I'm not complaining.
Yep. Number 19 for me is Ice T Power.
Ooh,
Great album. Production was dope. The songs I like. Let's get butt naked and fuck. That song was real nasty, real raunchy. I'm your pusher. He sampled a classic Curtis Mayfield song. The title track, Power, Drama, all solid. Tracks. Definitely a banger. I'm not a big Ice T fan. I've only heard two of his albums, but this and OG to me were great albums. So
mm, I hear what you're saying. My number 18 will possibly be Ducky Fresh's The World's Greatest Entertainer as well. Um, Again, like what you said, I'm not going to say too much about this, but this is a very dope album and whatnot. I've always loved that album cover
mhm,
and stuff like that. Definitely had like a very party vibe and shit like that. I love it. Songs like On the Strength, Keep Rising to the Top, Cut That Zero. I love that track. Africa Going Back Home. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Very dope track. You know what I'm saying? Very dope album as well too. I feel like this album does not get a lot of love because I feel like people, a lot more fans love his first album, the Oh My
right,
God record, which that album has never been released on CD. It's only been released on vinyl. So,
right.
oh god, it's kind of hard to come by and shit like that too. So, yeah, man. But at the same time, this album and the joint from '95 Play are my favorite albums he's ever done.
So number 18 for me is Sweet Tea. It's Tea Time. Underrated female lyricist to me. She's still making music in this day and age, and put the album was produced by Herbie Lovebug. He produced Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play, and I saw a lot of the songs on here sounded like stuff that I could have heard Salt and Pepper on. Especially there's a song called Workout that's like a complete rip off of Push It. They didn't care for them. Like this is Salt and Pepper right here. Like he tried to give Sweet Tea her own version of a Push It, and it didn't work out. But she got some joints on here on the smooth tip. Let's Dance, Show and Prove. Those are bangers. It's only 9 songs, but I always felt like she was underrated. She didn't get a lot of you know promotion like that. So that's my number 18.
Definitely. My number 17 would have to be Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock.
That's my 17.
You lying?
Yes, that's my 17.
Oh, I didn't even think you're gonna have the album on your list though.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, I just heard it. I never heard it. I always used to look at them like one hit wonders, and I never heard it until like last night. I'm like, yo, the album's actually dope.
I mean, to the pop community, they one hit wonders, but the hip hop, they
Right.
had like a couple
It
other
had
hits.
joy. It had
Yeah,
joy. Right.
Joy and Pain
Yeah.
had that one joint from '88 too and shit like that. But
Mm.
this album, It Takes Two, very dope record. One of hip hop's greatest anthem. It takes two to make the things go right. Dun
Yes. Yeah,
I don't care what no one said. That song, I still bump to that song to this day.
still fire.
I didn't like it when Snoop sampled that for that I Wanna Rock.
Oh
I
man.
didn't like. I was like, no Snoop, no, no Snoop.
Mm.
I
That was a huge hit for Snoop too when that came out.
Yeah, it was a huge hit, but
Mhm.
see, with songs like that should not be touched,
Right.
in my opinion. And that intro set things up. Do you see people sampling the
Mm.
Black Sheep Choices Yours intro? That dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun. No,
They
no,
shouldn't. They shouldn't.
exactly they shouldn't. Snoop just did that because he just needed a hit. Let's be real. Yeah, it's just let's be real. But
Oh,
I love Joy and Pain, which,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I think Mace or Frankie Beverly I think they
Yeah.
got sued for that record.
Yeah. I think that was amazing, Frankie Beverly.
Yeah, crazy. Times Are Getting Ill was dope. Make It Hot, I like that shit. You know what I'm saying? I need to get my hands on this album and stuff like that. This
Yeah.
album to me,
It's cheap. It's like $4 on Amazon. So
right? It's not the most perfect album. It's not the most lyrical, but for that time, it's just right. It's just right for that time.
yes, definitely. Yeah, this is definitely a dope album. Like I never listened to none of their albums. I never bought it. And I listened to it last night. I'm like, oh, this shit was good. They should have promoted more singles from the album. It Takes Two was a classic record that's still being played in movies and commercials. And Joy and Pain was great. Don't sleep on it. Check this out. The one song, every at that time every rapper had to have like a love song. So he had Crush
I mean,
on the album. Yeah, so that was like his version of I Need Love. You know what I'm saying? Every
oh my
rapper
god,
had a love song. I'm like, come
we
on.
we gotta do like a tribute to some of them early '80s
Yeah,
love songs. Shit.
yes. Get on the dance floor. That was a dope track. Yeah, there's definitely a solid album, and we need to discuss it. I want to definitely get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been I never bought it before, and it is still available. So
For real though. I seen this girl sitting at the bus stop, looking so fine, sucking on a lolly. But I said,
no,
"Excuse me, I
really.
don't mean to be rude, but I just want to show you the end of my shoe."
Oh Lord,
Maybe saying some corny shit, making that shit. Anyway,
holy shit.
my number 16 is, we probably have this one. It's Too Short. Life is too short. Oh, you don't have this one next?
No, no,
Oh,
I'm not a Too Short fan like that.
wow.
That's just
Okay.
never cared for him like that. He okay, you know what I'm saying? Just I never like really dug into his discography before like that. So
I feel you. I feel you.
yeah,
You know,
I'm just starting to get into Ice T. You talk about Too Short.
hey, Too Short's a West
Yeah,
Coast legend,
and
man.
it's always Ice T, but
I
you know,
know.
at some point maybe I'll check out his stuff.
Yeah, man. This was pretty much like his breakthrough album. And the reason why, I know a lot of people gonna say, well, what about Born to Mac? Yeah, Born to Mac, people forget Born to Mac was re-released in 1989, and not a lot of people knew not 88, the same time as Life is Too Short, because that was when he was on Dangerous Music
Mm,
and stuff like that. He was still relatively underground and stuff, but once he got the job, the rest is history. But Life is Too Short, I love this fucking record. You know what I'm saying? Songs like fucking City of Dope, Life is Too Short. Love that track. Little story about this album. It was reported that he died of crack
oh
and
shit.
stuff like that around this time of this album, which I think he mentioned that on one of the songs here. I think it was either in this one. No, it was, yeah, I Ain't Tripping. He mentioned
Mm,
that shit. You know what I'm saying? So very crazy. And the song I Ain't Tripping, it also features in the video, it features Mark Curry, aka Mr. Cooper and stuff like that. Cause at that time he was rolling with Too Short, and they're both from Oakland and stuff like that too. So
right.
yeah, Mark Curry was originally a rapper and shit. Who knows?
Wow.
So this album to me is a very dope album. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, a lot of fans say this is the best record. I'm more of a, once we get to like the mid '90s, like Get In Where You Fit In and the fucking Cocktails album. Those are my favorite album. This is like my third favorite album from him.
Right.
but his discography is consistent. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Number 16 for me is Biz Markie Going Off. Classic album, all produced by Marley Marl. We had a great Marley Marl beat battle like what was it, last week before last, and
It's historic.
you know, yes, many bangers off of here. The Vapors, a classic record, and Make the Music with Your Mouth Biz. Nobody Beats the Biz. Something for the Radio. Picking Boogers to start the album off.
Classic.
Love that. Love that. That song was hilarious. But you know, Albee Square Mall, a monumental mall that we used to have in Brooklyn here it's no longer Albee Square Mall no more, but this is definitely a classic album. I don't hear nobody talk about this album. They talk about the other album. I don't
Exactly.
really hear them talking. They talk about I Need a Haircut, but this one was definitely a classic album. Love the production from Marley Marl. And I have no Biz Markie albums. I have to get some. Eric, if you watching, I need some Biz Markie albums. But yeah, rest in peace, to Biz. And I should have probably put this higher, like in the top 10, but definitely making the list for the top 20.
Yeah, I had like two Marley Marl albums in my top 10, so I'm just like,
You got two?
well, two produced Marley
Oh,
Marl.
I'm about to say you got. Don't tell me you got both those Marley Marl albums in your top 10.
Well, that other one was dropped in '91, and honestly,
Oh,
that's
no,
not
no.
gonna be in my list for '91. I'm so real shit.
Oh Lord.
If I did the worst hip hop albums from '90s and shit, that might be a contender.
Oh Lord.
All right. My next album is Kid and Play with Too Hype. You know what I'm saying? This might be a surprise to some because it's pop rap, is album you can play with your family and shit, pretty much. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. I like my pop rap when it's done rap. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sound facts.
Love songs like Rolling with Kid and Play. I like, but
Classic.
give me Do This My Way. That
Yes.
song. Oh my fucking god. They were killing it. That video too was dope
Mm,
and shit.
mm, facts.
Getting Funky was good. You know what I'm saying? Last night,
Let's
like
not change it all.
nice use of the Shaka Khan sample. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? This was a pretty good album. You know what I'm saying? This was a very dope run. You know what I'm saying? Even though my favorite album was Face the Nation and stuff like that,
Mm.
this discography is pretty consistent. So
Face the Nation was dope. My favorite was Funhouse and Too Hype. Face the Nation had some bangers though. That one was more. It was more harder for them. Like they were mad on that album.
yep, they were mad, but at the
Mm,
same time, like they were consistent with their lyricism and stuff like that
mm,
too. And I'm not gonna look at them as lyricists or whatnot too, but if I see
right.
motherfuckers making like an effort in their rhyming and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
just doing territory, I can respect that more. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like the fun kid. It had the fun Kid and Play, but it was still they were maturing with their sound, I guess. And
Right.
that was when Kid was doing them weird braids. Or I don't know. I was just okay, nigga.
The weird braids. Yep.
Oh
All
shit.
right. No, number 15 for me is Boogie Down Productions. By all means necessary. Another great album. All produced by Keras One. My Philosophy, a classic record. Love that song. Stop the Violence. Just Slipping. Jimmy. One of the best songs on this album. Definitely a great album. I love most of BDP's albums. Criminal Minded is a classic. This album was dope. The one after that, you know, yeah, definitely. I need to get their albums, so I don't have no BDP albums. There's a couple of artists on here in this list. I don't have none of their albums, but yeah, BDP. I gotta get their stuff.
Yeah, all I'm missing is the Ghetto Music album and the live album. That's all I'm missing.
Yeah,
If I see
Sex and
something,
Violence. That was good too.
that might be my favorite album.
That
Well,
one,
see, all the albums were good, but I'm kind of perplexed because that's technically an unofficial Keras One album.
right?
Let's keep it real and shit like that.
Mm,
If I want to pick the best album as a group, I would say Edutainment though.
that was a good one too.
Yeah, I felt like Criminal Minded and By Any Means were the most influential albums in my opinion too. So
Yeah,
The discography was pretty good, and it wasn't just KRS-One though that was just doing it. They
Right,
had Kenny
right.
Parker, Scott LaRock, D Nice, Miss Melody,
Yes.
Harmony, and
Yep.
shit.
Facts.
Number 14, oh Jesus, it's Run DMC with that tougher than leather. You know, a lot of people say that Raising Hell was like the last album, great album. I kind of disagree.
Right.
This album to me was very dope. They kind of went now. They sounded a bit angry, not angry, angry. They just got more lyrical. Like you can tell
Mm,
they were listening to Kane and Rakim around this time and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, it had some of my favorite Run DMC songs like "Who's House," "Fun
One
Town,"
size. Yep.
"Beats to the Rhyme," "Beats to the Rhyme." Probably the best usage of that Bob James sample, and that's saying a lot because that sample has been used in like 8,000 rap songs and shit. Papa Crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mary was dope and shit. Like it
Mm,
was also more sample heavy. Like I just realized it was more sample heavy
mm,
compared to the other ones and shit too. And even
right.
though this song was not on this album, I do have to mention Christmas in Hollis though.
Mm.
I mean,
That
come
joint.
on. Yes, it was on. I mean,
Yes.
yes, love that fucking record and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
I thought I came after Tougher Than Leather. That was the same year.
It did come after Tougher Than Leather, but here's the thing: they
Mm.
re-released the album and they added it as a bonus track.
Oh, okay.
And even sound wise, it had that Tougher Than Leather sound and shit. So
Right.
yeah, that's
Okay.
all I
I
had to
didn't
say.
even know that. All right, number 14 for me is Ultramagnetic MC's Critical Beatdown. We did a album review for this, I think it was last year. We did that, and
Yes.
that's another group that I didn't get into. Cool Keith, I know some of his solo stuff. Like I listened to like some of his solo stuff after he left the group, but I never got into the group when they were around. And this was definitely a great album to me, like their best out of all the albums that we talked about from them. And you know the production from Set G and Paul C was great, and you know Ego Tripping was a banger, and Funky, Watch Me Now, you know Traveling at the Speed of Thought. This to me was like a boom bap album. Like out of all their albums, this to me like it felt like a real, you know, boom bap hip hop album. You know, and I don't know what happened after the first album. It's like they started to you started to see the decline, especially when that third album came out. That was terrible, but
Talking about
um
Ultra Man,
yeah, that was one other third album. That what's that the latter album that we talked about. That was like 2000.
yeah, best
Huh?
kept secret.
That shit was bad. But
Horrible.
this album to me was the best one. I just love the production on it, and you know, Cool Key. This is before Cool Key got real spaced out and weird. You know, and
Before.
well, I mean, I don't think he sounded like he didn't sound like you know Black Elvis and Doctor Octagon on this album. He sounded like a regular MC. Like he got weirded out after he left the group to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you started to see all his different alter egos and stuff come out, and I felt like he was like plain Jane on this album, and it was dope.
Mm, I feel you. Mm. My next album after Tougher Than Leather is Biz Markie with that going off. To me, my favorite Biz Markie album, honestly.
Yeah,
Excuse me, my favorite Biz Markie album, honestly. I felt like the production of Marley Marl, it definitely gave that very dirty basement feel to it and stuff like that.
right.
Saying, I love Albee Square Mall. I love that track. Vapors. Nobody beats the biz. You know, this is something for the radio. Make the music with your mouth, biz.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like Biz Markie definitely has dope form and shit like that. It's either this one or I need a haircut. I gotta go back and forth with that's my favorites and shit, you know.
Yeah, classic.
Hmm.
Number 13 for me is MC Light. Light as a Rock. Her first album, a great album. You know, you got 10% Diss. That was a banger, and I Cram to Understand You. Paper Thin, one of my favorites on this album. Kicking for Brooklyn. Light as a Rock. I like the video version because it's a different version on the album.
Yeah,
The video version was like more it was more like a house type of mix.
right.
And they should have put that as a bonus track on here. They wanted you to go out and spend your money on a single for that, but never bought it. But yeah, this album is one of her best to me, and she's a legend.
That's clean right there, yo.
Yes.
Right. Now I'm gonna go with that for my number 12. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. Boy, by DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. Say what you want to say about this nigga. Say how many niggas he slapped. You want to say all that shit? I don't give a fuck.
We still with that?
I mean, it's brought back up because Will Smith did that apology and shit like
Mm,
that.
mm.
I'm just like, fuck it. I'm tired of this shit. But
I don't think you should have did that. I just think you should have just let it go.
I feel
Like
like I
it
feel like
already happened.
I feel like he just did that shit just to get it over with, and I applaud him for it.
But I
Honestly,
thought he did that before. Didn't he apologize before? How many times you gonna apologize for a slap?
I mean, that was a PR move because
Mm,
that was like a social media. This was like face to face, I guess. You know what I'm saying? He just makes up the leg record that Jada didn't force him to do shit. Yada
mm,
yada yada. But I just feel like honestly, if Mel Gibson can still have a career, why not Will? That's what I'm saying. But anyway, um, he's a DJ. I'm the rapper. That's like one of my favorite albums from them and stuff like that. What I liked about this album, for one, it's actually the first double album in hip hop history,
yeah.
and second, the first half is like dedicated to Will and stuff like that, But in the second half, it's like mostly all DJ cuts and shit, which I felt like that was kind of unique. Which not a lot of people give this album its just due for. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
people look at DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince as, oh, they just the parents just don't understand Fresh Prince of Bel Air, yada yada yada, all that shit. But some of these cuts that and mind you, Jazzy Jeff did his cuts on the album. Can we just say
Right.
that? Because other motherfuckers like Eric B or even like DJ Polo, motherfuckers say they didn't even cut a damn record in their fucking life and shit. But
Mhm.
then that's another story for a different day. But yeah, man, I love songs like, oh, mind you, one more thing, only get this album on vinyl. Don't ever get the CD version of this album. They cut shit off the CD version.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but the vinyl
That's good
version.
to know.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I've said this on the review too and shit too
Mm,
because um I know they did. They said they re-released it on the 2017, but at the same time, I'm just like, nah,
yeah.
nigga. I'm still kind of skeptical. You know what I'm saying? I like. I'm an OG nigga and
Yeah.
shit. Like I'm gonna be real. I'm still skeptical and shit.
Facts.
But
Facts.
and they shorten shit because of sample clearances or whatever.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, everyone knows parents just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Which again, I like that song, but there's a lot of dope joints like "Here We Go Again." Oh my god, love that track. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. That is actually my favorite track off this album.
Yeah.
Human Video Game was dope too. Time to Chill. I want to say that used the George Benson Breezing sample, and of
Hmm.
course, hey, let me talk to you. Let me have a word with you. Let me brand new funk. But
Hmm.
the video version, I like the video version more than the album version, just because of Will's energy and shit
Right.
like that. You know what I'm saying? You should have seen the people dancing and shaking. You should have seen the people dancing and shaking and moving. And I was like, what?
Okay.
What? I was like, what? This nigga just. I'm sorry. I'm not loud right now, but that's that he's the DJ, I'm the rapper, and stuff like that. Very dope record. This record and Code Red are my favorite albums from him and shit.
Yeah.
Your favorite album,
All right.
Code Red.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
And that's where they fell off at. But um,
shit.
number 12, number 12 is an album that actually the anniversary, ironically, is today. Salt and Pepper. I saw with a Deadly Pepper.
I hate that album.
Um, you don't like that album? What? This is one of their best albums to me.
It was a bit too pop for me. But
There was a pop group.
I know, but Hot, Cool, and Vicious and Black's Magic was it had more quality than it has. Oh, I might have to re-listen to it. When I heard it, it was a bit too whitewashed. I
You had
don't know.
some big joints on here. Shake Your Thing was a huge hit with EU. and
Trash.
you had Get Up Everybody, huge hit,
Eh.
Twist and Shout. You know,
I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? Some 60s rock and roll rap and shit? What the fuck is this?
that's what I'm telling you. They were always commercial because they were coming out with commercial joints. They wasn't coming out with like street joints. This is all commercial stuff that people remember.
But they had this one joint that was
Mm.
not on this album called "I Am Down." Nah, da, 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 da. That song right there.
Never heard that.
They performed that on Soul Train and
Mm.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's called "I Am Down." I'll see if I can send
Right.
it to you. That
Okay.
should have been on the album, but
Right. And why didn't it make the cut?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I gotta look it up though, because it kind of pissed me the fuck off.
Right.
It was on the greatest hits. I'm like, nigga, fuck a greatest hit. I think it
Wow.
was a B. It was a B side. I think. I don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah, this was. I love the album cover with them in the black and red leather, and their hair's all short and done up, and this was great, man. The album cover alone, I need to just I could just frame that and put it on my wall. It was great,
That's the
and
only
this
thing about.
and this was the official first album with Spinderella. Ironically, they don't want to talk to her, but they need Spinderella back in that group, and she has her
Step.
own track on here. Spinderella's not a fella, but a girl DJ, and it's 4 minutes long. And you even gave your DJ her own song, and they want to act like she's not a part of the group no more. I don't understand that.
Stepchild.
Come on, Salt and Pepper, get it together.
Shit.
You know what
Should
I
have had
mean?
like a fucking stepchild and shit, yo. What the fuck?
Crazy, crazy. This is definitely. I definitely need to get this one too, man. I don't have this one.
Yeah, man. But I sent you that song.
Okay,
Like I said, it came out in '87 and stuff
okay.
like that. You know what I'm saying? But still, that was better than most of that shit on that fucking album.
Lord.
Oh,
Um,
okay. So I think it came out. Herbie Hancock, Love Bug had a
mhm,
compilation that said "The House That Rap Built." So I think it was from that.
right.
Okay, but still, y'all want to put that? Y'all gonna put some fake ass rock and roll bullshit like it didn't work well with the Fat Boys, man. Like I'm
Right.
just saying,
Facts. Facts.
they did that one song with the Beach Boys and Chub Chucker.
Right. Lord.
Shit, I love the Fat Boys, yo. Now my number 11 is no, I made a slight change and shit
Mm.
like that. I'm gonna go with Marley Marl's In Control Volume One.
All right.
Originally, this was my number 10, but I didn't feel right with that particular album not being below the top 10. And I'm gonna get into that in a minute.
Right.
But Marley Marl In Control Volume One is one of my favorite albums from the whole Cold Chillin' Juice Crew, good that golden Juice Crew era and shit like that. You know, all these hungry MCs, you know, breaking through with this fucking album and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the Symphony alone, the Symphony alone and shit like that. You know, was very dope and stuff like that. I feel like Kane and G Rap definitely had the best verses, but yeah, it kind of I kind of go back and forth and stuff. I'm not gonna hold you. Keep your eye on the prize with Master Ace and Action was dope, but I think it had a 1 week track, Whack
Right.
It with Roxy and Shantae, which I'm just like, really, you have to propose golden member and shit like that. You're gonna give her this fucking shit and stuff like that. But anyway, it is what it is, and like we mentioned before, stay away from Volume Two. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah.
All right. Number 11 for me is the Jungle Brothers, Straight Out the Jungle. Yes, kids,
Ooh,
this is the cassette. This is the cassette. Yes, I still have some cassettes.
ooh, look at you.
Love this album. To me, is their best album. Still, you had a Straight Out the Jungle. Love that track, and Black is Black. Jim Browski. I'll House You. That was like the one of the early rap songs that had like a house vibe to it, a house techno vibe to it, and yeah, the production was great. Q-Tip was on the album. Definitely. We got to talk about some Jungle Brothers albums.
I was
This
just
group.
thinking about that too.
This group has been slept on in the native tongues. It's all about De La, the people and tribe, and outside of those two groups, they don't know nobody else in the native tongues. And I think Jungle Brothers is like that group that's slept on in that crew. So we got to definitely talk about some of the albums.
Yeah, man. Cause I'm not gonna hold you. I've never really been the biggest Jungle Brothers fan, but I do like their first album because
Yeah.
of those dirty drums. Like
Yes.
those drums and the production was so fucking dirty.
Right.
When the second album they had that song with that one with the ass shaking kind of song. You know what
I
they
know
had a
what you're
video.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I forgot
yeah,
the name of it though.
yeah. I'll look it up after and
Yeah.
shit. But I don't know. They just and at that time I wasn't the biggest house fan like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still not the
Right.
biggest house fan. Sorry, Beyonce, but you know, but some house music I do like Crystal
Mhm.
Water, Robin S. Some house music I
Right.
do like I mentioned and shit. But
Right. Right.
but we do gotta talk about that Renaissance album one day and
Yeah.
shit.
One day.
Because I want to talk about other Beyonce albums, and I did say I want to talk about Destiny's Child before,
Right. Right.
but I'm not gonna get my thoughts on that record yet because I'm gonna listen to it a few times and shit. You
Yeah.
know,
I didn't even hear the album yet, so
I know
I don't.
Eric said he only like two songs from that shit.
Wow. I didn't even hear the album yet.
All I'm gonna say,
Mm.
it's not an album you can just dissect
Right.
quickly and shit. But anyway, that's too much about Beyonce on your hip hop channel. Unless we talk about Jay. Now the top 10, DS, Ultramagnetic MCs, Critical Beatdown. Now originally this was not in my top 10, and I kind of looked at myself kind of crazy because I'm just like, wow, interesting. But you
Mm,
know, I had a little switch around with Marley Marl and stuff like that.
mm,
So this album to me is one of the most revolutionary hip hop albums ever, and whatnot. To Cool Keith, whether you love him or hate him, one of the most complex, misunderstood lyricists in hip hop history, in my personal opinion and shit.
right.
Um, Said G, the man with 5,000 rap voices.
Right.
I mean, say what you want to say about Said G, but when it came to like the Four Horsemen, I felt like he stepped his game up with that album. But we already did reviews on that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, yeah, man. This album definitely utilized like a lot of fucking samples. Just a lot of the styles, the drums. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, Said G was working on this album and Criminal Minded at the same time too. Man, that shit crazy.
Mm,
He had song, but if I had to pick a little small gripe, the remixes on the songs, I mean, the remixes on the albums were kind of like my least favorite
right.
because the original 12 inches had the samples that was very unique, like the funky remix. It had the Joe Cocker woman to woman sample, which everybody knows a certain West Coast rapper, did it.
Right.
We all know who it is because I don't want to mention his name because people be like, "Oh my god, yes, yes." But yeah, man, but the funky remix because the remix is just like the drum break and
Mm,
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Then you had songs like "Feeling It." I love "Feeling It." You know, what else? What else? What else? What else? "Ain't It Good to You?" Which, believe it or not, he actually threw a shot at Rakim and stuff like that too.
wow.
And Rakim came back at him on the Follow the Leader album too, which I didn't know about that until after I did that review and
Mm,
shit. I was just like, oh wow, Cool Keith and Rakim, who you got on that one and shit.
mm.
I mean, you don't have to ask me that. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
you know, I ain't going against the greatest MC ever and shit. But anyway, but my Said G Delta Force One, I like that song too. Said G did his thing on that one. It also has some work from the late great Paul C, who one of the greatest hip hop producers from that era. Who I really wished he didn't die at such a young age and shit, cause
Right.
crazy man. But anyway, Critical Beatdown, definitely a very dope record.
Number 10 for me is Easy E with Easy Does It, a classic gangster rap album. We discussed this album, I think it was last year, earlier this year. Um, Great production by Dre and Yella. And to me it was like an extension of the NWA albums, and it was just really easy by herself. A couple features on here, but when you hear like Two Hard Mothers and Nobody Move, Ruthless Villain, We Want Easy, that's like some of his best shit. This is like his only official real album, right? Because the other one came out after he died.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was. I need to get this album definitely because again I wasn't a huge NWA fan. I know their songs, but I didn't grow up listening to them. But like many years later, after the Chronic and the whole Death Row era, and going back and listening to a lot of their stuff, like this is definitely a classic gangster rap album, and it showed that Easy could make an album on his own without Cube, or even though Dre and Ren is featured, but a lot of the songs is like mostly Easy on it, and I think it's phenomenal album.
Oh wow.
Yep. Is this your favorite, or the other one?
Mm. Well, see, here's the thing. I like the other one better.
Hmm.
But I have to remember the other one is technically a compilation because I like 1988 was the official album, and
Right.
so at this point, I mean, but yeah, I was reading up about Paul C's death, and I
Hmm.
didn't even know like rappers was like questioned as suspects and shit too. I'm just like, wow. Prince
Right.
Poe said he was interrogated by the police for like 6 hours and
Crazy.
shit. Shit, rest in peace. Number nine, Kane from Brooklyn's finest, Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite Kane albums, next to the second not it was dedicated to like the battle rap.
Hmm.
Can you
Yep.
hear me?
You was breaking up.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was messing. I had to reconnect it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you heard?
Um, you said something I forgot.
Okay. Let me do this all over again. So my Wi-Fi wants to play bullshit, but Long Live the Kane, definitely one of my favorite albums from Kane. Very braggadocious rap album and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a nice song album where wordplay and battle rhymes was very unique and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Songs like Ain't No Half Steppin', just rhyming with the biz with Biz Markie, which writing wise definitely one of his best tracks and shit like that. On the Bucket Tip was dope too. Definitely next to It's a Big Daddy Thing, my favorite Kane album.
Dope.
Lord have mercy. Shit.
All right. Number nine for me was Follow the Leader. That would be in Rakim. Great album. Got the big hits from Follow the Leader and Microphone Fiend. Just the Beat was fire. Um, Put Your Hands Together. Enjoyed that. Yeah, great album.
Definitely. My album number 8, MC Light with Light as a Rock. Man, this is another classic album and shit like that. This might be the female equivalent to Long Live the King. Just thinking about that shit now. If you get my drift, if that makes sense and stuff.
Right.
Because I always felt like MC Light and Big Daddy Kane kind of had a bit similar careers in their earlier stages. Like both first two albums was very acclaimed. The third album was where it gets shaky and shit like that. And the fourth album is like where they kind of brought it back again and shit like that. Um, without walking with the Panther syndrome, I'm telling you. And yeah, man, definitely did a thing with this record and shit like that. I love songs like I Cram to Understand You, 10% Diss, which going after Antoinette. Stay tuned on reviews from her very soon. MC Light like swinging. Yeah, man. I just wish the mixing was better on this fucking album and stuff like that too. Even though my personal favorite album is Eyes on This, I feel like this is every hip hop head should own this record, not just no
Yeah.
fucking City Girls bullshit.
Not even City Girls.
City Girls.
Man. What? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
Um, Number 8 for me is Kid and Play, Too Hype. Great album from them, first album. Great production from Herbie Lovebug, rolling with Kid and Play and getting funky. Do This My Way great. Yeah, great first album from them. And I love the album cover too. They got like the black, the Too Hype clothes on with the black Nikes and all that.
Definitely. Yeah, man, that's a very dope record and shit like that.
Yeah.
Where we at? Number 7 is Ice T with Power. Boy, man, this is a very fine ass record and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I just love the album cover. The all white album cover with Ice T in the middle, and then you got Darlene with the fucking gun and shit like that too.
Right.
You know, I don't know what he ever saw in Coco, but you know what? I'll just leave it at that 'cause I don't want to
What did he
disrespect.
see in Coco? I'm like, Darlene still look
I don't,
great
I
now.
don't, I don't want to disrespect the man's wife and shit, but you know
Holy
what?
shit.
I don't know, man. Is
She
she is
ain't
she is she
touching
fully, is she
Darlene at
fully
all.
white?
Who, Coco?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, she white. She ain't Spanish.
Okay. Well, yeah, true. I just want to make sure because Ice T's half
Yeah.
white too. So okay.
Yeah, I saw when they reality show used to come on, they showed like I remember them showing like an early picture of her when she was younger. She a white chick, you
Okay.
know.
I just wanted to make sure because
She had,
sometimes
she didn't look like that when she was younger. Like she had plastic surgery,
of course she did.
you know.
Shit. But yeah, man. Yeah, and then the gangster rap album cover, they were fucking on the album cover and some shit like that.
Who Ice T and Coco?
Yeah, the gang, his '06 album cover, they had both of them
I
butt
never
naked on
know.
the album cover and shit.
I never saw it.
I can show it to you if you want. I'm sorry, stop.
Yeah.
This album, very dope record and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I love songs like the Syndicate, Drama, Girls Let's Get Butt Naked and Fuck was dope. I'm Your Pusher, which that actually started beef with him and LL Cool J, cause like
Right.
y'all should know the story with that. So yeah, man, this album to me definitely a very unique record and shit like that too. I definitely fuck with this record hard.
All right. Number 7 for me is Run DMC Tougher Than Leather. Great album. I think it's the last great album. Um, Beats to the Rhyme. That was everywhere when that joint came out. And Mary Mary, love that sample for that. And what's the other joint I like? Oh yeah, Run's House was great. Definitely a classic song. The production was great, and I never saw the movie. I gotta watch the movie on streaming. I can't find the damn links to it though. It's such an old movie.
It's on
It's on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw the
it's
film,
trash.
and it's not on Blu-ray either. Like I think what's his name? Shout out to Killer Tape. Killer Tape still has it on VHS. That's how old of a movie it is. They never released it on DVD. So
It was trash.
yeah, I gotta huh?
It was trash. You're not missing much.
I just want to see it. I mean, because I've been in the old school, anime and hip hop mode. I just watched Beach Street the other day for the first time in years. That's a great film, and but I'm gonna watch Electric Boogaloo tonight, Breaking Part Two, and I haven't seen that in years. So, but yeah, I don't remember if I saw it. I don't remember it, but I definitely want to try to see it again. But a lot of the streaming apps don't have it. They don't have no links for it. So,
Oh wow.
but yeah, definitely a great album. Rest in peace, Jam Master Jay.
Yeah, rest in peace. All right. My next album is gonna be Eric B and Rakim with that Follow the Leader. Very dope record and shit like that. This was a huge. I mean, Paid in Full was already good, but this was just even better than Paid in Full and stuff like that. It has some of Rakim's best lyricism, in my opinion, and song, songs like Eric B. Never Scared, Michael from Fiend, The R, Musical Massacre. These are all fucking dope to the listeners. All of them were fucking dope and shit like that. Even the production, was like a lot more fast paced and shit like that. Very instrumental. Cause Paid in Full definitely had a more minimalistic production compared to this album and stuff like that too.
Right. Yep. All right. Number six for me is Slick Rick, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. Classic album. Love the production from the Bomb Squad, and it said Jam Master Jay. Jam Master Jay produced stuff on here. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Rule is back. Okay. Yeah. Great. A lot of classic joints from this album. Teenage Love and Hey Young World, Children's Story. Mona Lisa is my favorite. Phenomenal album and lyrics. Great storyteller. One of the best storytellers of all time. Yeah, definitely enjoyed this one.
yeah, I definitely feel you on that and shit. All right. Next album, my number five is Boogie Down Productions by Any Means Necessary. Probably one of the first conscious hip hop albums and whatnot too. This album came after the tragic death of Scott LaRock and stuff like that too. So Careless One definitely wanted to like redo his deeds and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, very 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 dope record. I love songs like You're Slipping, Jimmy, Nervous and stuff like that. My Philosophy, all this was very dope. And yeah, like I said, it's just as even better as Criminal Minded and shit too. He definitely had like a lot more to talk about with his album and shit too. So
Yeah. Number five for me is Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. He's the DJ and the rapper. This was my first album listening to them. Great album. Nightmare on My Street, classic storytelling track. Love that song. Here we go again, brand new funk. Parents just don't understand. A classic record. Charlie Mack, First Out the Limo. Talking about I think that was his bodyguard. Charlie Mack was his bodyguard or something.
yeah,
Um, great album. Definitely top five for me.
yeah. My next one is Slick Rick, Great Adventures of Slick Rick and shit. Um, shit. Very dope record. Um, I love this. Might be my favorite Slick Rick album and stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I love songs like Teenage Love, Hey Young World. This album, it had a very diverse production too, like Jam Master Jay, the Bomb Squad, even Slick Rick. Even Slick Rick definitely did his thing and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Moment I Fear is actually my favorite track off this album too. So I definitely love this album. Classic.
That's number four for me is PE. It Takes a Nation of Millions. Classic album. Night of the Living Bassheads and Don't Believe the Hype. Bam, bam. Don't believe the hype. Love that joint. Bring the Noise. Louder Than a Bomb. Classic. classic production. Chuck D, happy birthday! I think that was his birthday was yesterday. Today is his birthday. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Flavor Flav, Terminator X, one of the all-time greatest rap groups ever.
Yeah, definitely and shit. Where we at right now? Where we at? Number three. Okay. And my number three is EPMD, Strictly
That's my
Business.
number three too. That's my
Oh,
number three.
this to me is the first G Funk album and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This album definitely was one of the most influential. Like, cause they were sampling shit like Cool and the Gang and Zap before half these
Hmm.
West Coast niggas and shit like that too.
Right.
And I definitely love this record. I feel like this record was one of hip hop's most unique at that time and shit.
Yeah.
You know, I love songs like Your Customer, Jane, I'm Housing and stuff like that. You know, very, very, very dope record. This album's a classic.
Yes, definitely classic album. I don't see why they put the bonus tracks. I don't We didn't need the bonus tracks though. It could have just
Nah,
been 10 songs, but definitely a great album. Another great one of the greatest rap groups ever.
my number two is NWA with Straight Outta Compton.
That's my number two also.
Yo,
Well, your number one gonna be different than mine. I already know.
I know, I know. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that's not your number one either. But
What? NWA?
no, no, no. I was surprised
Oh,
my number one is not your number one because you already said my number one and shit.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So this record right here, NWA Charlie Compton, really one of the biggest West Coast albums that really just generated like a lot of controversy. You know, them talking about like a lot of street shit. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck the police, which got them a letter from the FBI, and
Mhm,
I ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? That record was dope too
mhm.
and shit. You know what I'm saying? Parental Discretion is like Quiet on Set. This record right here is a very dope record. I love it. Is it my favorite NWA album? Not necessarily, but y'all should know the answer to that one.
Great album. Definitely a classic. One of the best gangster rap albums ever. You know, they sold millions without no radio play and video play, and that you can't even do that now in this era. You know, and they were doing it back then in the 80s, and you know, so many legends came from this group. Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and Easy E. You know, Yella went off and did his thing. MC Ren, underrated, and he has a great discography. You know, himself, and another great rap group, man. And they pushed the boundaries. You know, they said what they wanted to say, and you know the music spoke for itself, and you got joints like "Fuck the Police" and "Straight Outta Compton," and you know, "Express Yourself," "Gangsta Gangsta." Great, great album. I definitely need to. I want to get this again. I had it. I had the CD, but I definitely need like the. I want to get like the anniversary edition though. You know,
You said you got the CD, right?
I had the CD without the case though, but I need the anniversary edition though.
Well, I also got the CD without the case and the vinyl. Shit.
What is up with these sellers that just sell that shit? Like they don't like NWA. They're just selling us shit without the case.
And this motherfucker said he got the case and shit.
Mm, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like unless people like traded in the original version for the anniversary one, maybe that's what happened. But
Mm,
yeah, that anniversary one, I need to get that one for sure.
I feel you. And my number one would have to be Public Enemy. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. You know what I'm saying? That's my all-time favorite hip hop album of all time and whatnot. This record to me, this record to me was definitely groundbreaking because it really proved that hip hop was not just a fad. It proved that we all had something to say, important wise and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? I love songs like "Party for Your Right to Fight." I love, of course, showing what you got, Protect Your Peace, Making the Noise. Night as Living Bass Heads, it will set the standard for like a lot of albums to come. I fucking love it.
Number one for me is Kane, Long Live Kane, '88. I remember
Ooh.
getting this on cassette in for Christmas back in '88, and end up getting the CD later on, and phenomenal album. Still one of his best for only 9 songs, and you got joints like Rhyme with Biz, rest in peace Biz, a great collab. I think Biz Monkey outshined him on that song, and Set It Off and Raw. Ain't no half stepping. Everybody knows that song. Um, I'll Take You There. We sampled the Staples singles, Mavis Staples joint. Um, classic album, Marley Marl produced it. Great album.
Yes, 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 yes. That's a very dope list, bro. Very dope list indeed. All right, so 1989. That's gonna be later on this week. I'm not too sure when and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I don't
it's
got
just
no yeah, I don't got no honorable mention. So
that's gonna be Easy's. Easy does it.
okay.
That's my honorable mention and shit.
Yeah. I
I
ain't
mean,
got
yeah,
none
that
this time.
album come on.
First time I ain't had no
Yeah,
honorable mention.
true. But yeah, this was a fun list and shit. This was a
Yeah.
fun list indeed. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm actually about to head out and shit. I'm about to get some deliveries out the way.
All right.
I'll see you later, bro.
All right.
You say your live is at 8 o'clock?
Yeah. So it's only gonna be for
Okay,
an hour. I'm talking about the Khalees rant. You know.
okay, bet.
Yeah.
Bet. We gotta check that shit out.
All right.
You be safe, bro. And
You
hope
too.
everyone has a good night. Stay subscribed. Stay blessed. Peace.
Peace.